Hi everyone, I wanted to provide you with a little more explanation about this assignment because the directions may be a bit confusing, so I want to clarify. I also want to give you some pointers on how to prepare for it and how to complete it. This is not something that you can do last minute. It will take you several days of prep before being able to write a reflection on what you observed and what you learned about yourself. So first, I want you to read the assignment directions in full that you can see here on your screen. This will give you a sense of what you're being asked to do. It may seem odd, but I want you to focus on the reflection instructions first. Even though that's what you're going to do last, it'll give you an idea of what you should be noticing and paying attention to for the other sections. You'll also see that it asks you about completion of your tasks, strategies you used, when you completed each task, your motivation levels. So you'll see all different kinds of topics overall that you will need to address on what you observed and learned. So use this kind of as a guideline as you're executing your 3-day plan. You can take notes on it along the way while it's fresh, and then at the end you can kind of polish your reflection as you answer those questions there. Now, what I also recommend is that you complete the reading and the worksheets in your textbook on pages 78 through 90, because these will help you get a better idea of how you spend your time, types of tasks you do over a multi-day period, and how you estimate how long it takes to complete your tasks. So let me show you. Here it talks a little bit about setting priorities and front loading. It talks a little bit about the type of work that you need to do, the tasks. It talks about estimating the time per task, which sometimes you struggle with and you will talk about. You can also check your reading speed if you're interested. Estimating how long it takes for you to do an assignment or a task within an assignment. It also talks about working backwards. And if your circadian rhythm, this is the idea. Are you a night owl or are you a morning person? When are you at your peak? When are you not? Why are you more motivated at your peak versus when you're not? So this will also help you answer a lot of the questions. It also talks here about some examples of estimating your time. And then these are the worksheets that I think that would be helpful for you, again, to just kind of collect your thoughts and put them down to paper. So these are types of things that you might need to accomplish in any given day or week. This is actually monitoring your time. What do you do from the minute you wake up until the minute you go to sleep to see the reality? How much time do you really spend on social media? How much time do you really spend binge watching Netflix? How much time do you actually spend working or in class or doing homework? So it really gives you that real-time snapshot of what you do with your time. And then this kind of helps you say, these are areas I need to work on. I spend too much time on this. Not a good priority. Maybe I should think about this another way. Now, the other thing that I want you to look at is in your book here. It also talks about tools that you'll use. So maybe you use a calendar, maybe you use an app, but there's also strategies. So things like developing a plan and using different kinds of strategies to break tasks down. It also talks about things like the 80-20 rule and Pomodoros. And again, if you look at the assignment, it asks what strategies you used. Now, maybe you used them, maybe you didn't. Maybe this is a good time to give them a try. So again, a lot of the reflection questions will ask about these types of topics, and it's right encapsulated basically on pages 78 through 90, 95, somewhere around there in the book. So that should really help you a lot. Now, I'm not asking you to submit your to-do list or your 3-day plan charts. You'll see that here. I don't need you to do that. What I do need for you to do, though, is treat the reflection instructions like a worksheet. So this is basically what you're going to be filling out. And I want each one of these questions to not just have a quick and easy answer. I want you to actually have 2 or 3 sentences that actually give in-depth answers, an example, an explanation, a description, whatever it might be. Okay? So I'll just give you an example for myself. And basically it is, if I would use a 7-day time monitor in your book, I would figure out what I do on different days. For example, my weekdays are very different than my weekends. My weekends include academic responsibilities like teaching classes. For you, it would be attending classes. I work, which is holding office hours and grading. For you, it would be your job. And then other personal obligations, such as doctor's appointments, or for me, caretaking for my father-in-law with dementia. For you, it may be activities you're involved in, team sports, or taking care of your kids. On my weekends, I do most of my chores, yard work, things like that, and I allow myself to have some free time to watch sports that I like, or watch DVR shows with my husband that we couldn't maybe do during the week. Once I kind of map out my tasks, then I would notice, well, when did I complete them? Well, I've thought about this before. I've done this plan in my head before. So I know I'm a morning person. Again, there's a circadian rhythm reference there. So I like to schedule my classes, do my office hours, and grading as early in the day as possible, so I'm focused and attentive. I'm at my peak. I tend to drift off more after noon, so I use that more as my chill time, like when I respond to email or other non-labor intensive kind of tasks. I give myself a break between 3 and 4:30 because at that point my brain is tired and I do need to recharge a little bit. So I relax, I listen to some music, and around 4:30 I start prepping dinner for everybody. After dinner, I'm recharged, so I start grading, and I basically do it until I'm done, or if I have a lot of grading to do, I set a goal for myself, grade so many assignments, and I do that before I even start, so I know when I've reached my goal, and that way I know what I need to get done before I stop. And I base it on the task. How complicated is the assignment I have to grade, how much feedback I need to provide, that kind of thing. And then after I think about all of that, then I can answer, you would be able to answer the reflection questions. That might be examples from my plan, what I used to help me make my plan successful, analyzing what went wrong, if I didn't meet a goal. For example, if I didn't grade all the papers I wanted to in my allotted time frame. I could talk about why I did or didn't feel motivated. Maybe I had a great day at work and I felt energized. Maybe it was really rainy and I felt tired. Or maybe I didn't feel like grading that particular assignment because it's a straight question and answer, and it's not as interesting as reading your reflections. So I hope this is helpful, and hopefully it kind of helps you understand the assignment a little bit better. But again, if you ever have any questions or concerns about how to complete this, don't hesitate. Give me an email, and I'll be glad to follow up with you. Thanks.